One of the most practiced martial arts in the world today is karate. There are thousands of branches and clubs of karate all over the world, each one practicing in their own unique way. The London branch of the Gaku Karate Kai is a Goju karate club started by Shihan Gavin Mulholland in the late 80s. With Gavin as their instructor, the club practices Okinawan Goju-ryu, which is a practical karate style that places a heavy emphasis on close-quarter effectiveness. Today, the club is considered one of the strongest karate clubs in the UK. Gavin is currently a 7th level black belt and one of the head chiefs of this karate club. So my crew and I decided to take a step into the world of karate, hear it from Gavin Mulholland himself and his students. Finally, I also decided to join Shihan Gavin and his students for a full training session.
My instructor is an admirable man. He has a massive knowledge base, he has a lot of experience, and we are very lucky to have him.
Well, let's just say I wouldn't want to go up against him on a dark and stormy night. No, he's a great sensei. He's tough when he needs to be, but at the same time, he's fair and very, very warm and welcoming to everyone.
Gavin is a superb instructor. It's very difficult to put into words if you haven't experienced one of his training sessions, but he is very charismatic, very personable. He won't go easy on you. He recognises the truth that actually, if you're going to train someone, you don't give them what they want, you give them what they need. What they can get here from him is valuable, and so he will train without mercy, and that's a kindness.
Everyone should have their left leg forward, but what takes your left leg will the only leg moving. So my dad was an unarmed combat instructor in the military. We're from Belfast originally. We're from the Shankill Road, and so that's trouble to start with. Military family, we moved a lot, that's trouble. So I don't remember a time not training. You know, we always wanted to. I wasn't forced against my will, but we were going to be training whether we wanted to or not. So said we'd be training with my dad. He had the same opinion, but you know, we're growing up in a dangerous area, and you have to be able to defend yourself. Like when we moved to Scotland from Ireland, somebody pulled a knife on my brother John. He came home and he said, he was crying, he said someone pulled a knife on him. My dad said, "What did you do?" And John said he ran away. And so Dad sent him out to go and find the boy and deal with it properly. He wasn't, I mean, I wouldn't do that with my kids, but that's what happened. John had to go back and find the boy, and then he came back. He said, "Have you dealt with it?" I said, "Yeah." But through that, what that ensured was that we didn't have any more trouble. We as a family didn't have any more trouble after that. So, harsh, but effective. I've got a boy and a girl, and I'll make sure they could both fight. Because to my mind, that's just not optional. Even from they're very little, pick them up, pick up Isis up and tell her to get out. She can scratch, she can bite. She should scratch, bite, scream, and get me off her. So they teach them right from the start how to do that and to look after each other. They're mixed race, they're going to bump into trouble, and as a father, you've got to teach them things. They've got to be able to swim, they've got to be able to survive, and they've got to be able to fight. I've been teaching here for 30 years and training for 50. So I never wanted to teach people. I was made to teach. My instructor made me teach. Though I can tell you why I started teaching here. I came to university and I did all the martial arts there, and I just thought this is low. And so although I didn't want to teach, I did what was there was not of good quality. So I feel I sort of forced into it. I am a dedicated teacher, but I don't particularly want it. And like we run a knee down plus session, so a black belt session, and they push to do it. And I said, okay, there's 22 of you who are above second dan, so I will do it once a week. We'll do it. But if ever there's less than 11 of you here, I'm being generous, 50%, then I'll ditch the class, which I've done in the past. I don't need those students. If it becomes my job, I'm worried that that's what I'd make happen. So the danger is they become your customers, not your students. And personally, I think it's one of the reasons that martial arts have got so weak, is that they're not students, they're customers.
After speaking with Gavin, we decided to ask a few questions to his students and their own likes and personal feelings towards their experiences for training in karate.
My current level is Nidan, so second level black belt.
Currently one of the white belts.
Orange belt.
Second level black belt.
I really enjoy
getting into the nitty-gritty of why a kata is like it is. I love the fact that they're so old. You know, you feel a real sense of connection with the historic martial arts and working out why it's been built the way it is and why the moves flow from one to the other and the sort of message that the masters are trying to transmit to you through building it in that way is what I find absolutely fascinating.
My favorite part of the training is self-defense, because especially for women it's so important that we understand and we know how to defend ourselves in the street, especially here in London, because we usually are the victim, because we usually are the weak one. So it's much easier for a male to attack a female than another male, you know. So it's really important for us to kind of at least know the basics.
My motivation to start karate is a little bit difficult to put my finger on. I think a lot of people start with the idea of self-defense or fitness or just meeting new interesting people, things like that. And I suppose all of those things are in the back of my head. I suppose also a lot of people have seen stuff on TV and they think, that's cool, I want to try it. Usually those ideas evaporate when they first actually encounter the reality of proper training. I found something here I'd never experienced anywhere else, and over time it also became a community for me. Generally speaking, fitness, confidence, a general philosophy of how to live your life comes out of this.
After 50 years of training and 30 years of teaching, Gavin has very inspiring views on what karate is as a sport and an art.
What is karate? I honestly think karate doesn't exist, and I've argued this in the press before. There is no such thing. Karate was an umbrella term meaning empty hand. Karate is any unarmed endeavour. You know, for us, judo, taekwondo, tai chi, tai chi, it's all karate. And the styles of karate are as different as me playing rugby, you playing football. So what we really do is go-jiru, and that is a system defined by the kata, the sets of forms that we have.
To get a more authentic experience and view on karate for this documentary and myself, I decided for the first time to participate in a 2-hour karate class instructed by Shihan Gavin.
So first we had the warm-up, and after that we had the actual training, which was okay. I was a little scared in the beginning, but it was fine. It wasn't easy, but it was fine. I think the hardest part was to actually punch people and get punched. I didn't think that, but it was actually pretty hard because I wasn't prepared to be punched. I think no matter how weak you are, it's all about the techniques and perfecting them and like believing in you, because like if you're confident in the movements, I think that might surprise a lot of people, and I think that's the goal. So he was really kind. He was like showing that really slow, and I think he did very well as a teacher. I mean, you can tell that he's done that for years and he knows how to do that, so he was really good.
See, most people will tell you that the reason they do martial arts is to learn to defend themselves, and at the first it's true, but I can teach someone to fight in 6 weeks. It's not what keeps you going. It is an art, and one of the things that defines art is that you can't define it. And that is one of the things that is art. You can't say what it is, you can't say what music is, other than saying it's just noises with, you know, in an order. Like, you can't describe it, you can't describe paint, you can't describe art. And the martial arts the same. So at one time it would have been to fight. That stopped a long time ago, and there's something else that keeps you going, which is kind of indefinable. So to me, karate was entirely life encompassing. It's not a sport, it's not something you do twice a week, it's entirely encompassing, yeah, and I was put on that path by my dad, and I'm eternally grateful for that.